about putting that in the show today?
Absolutely. I really like that. But how did you come up with that?
I was just thinking about what's the best way to serve the guys today on the MD and Chef Team show.
Yeah, and I was thinking, what about adding something like this to one of the pillars, just to empower, to equip them?
Beautiful. Oh, and may I say, speaking of beautiful, you look exceptionally gorgeous today, my dear.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed. I think it's time for the MD and Chef Team show.
Yay! Let's go!
The content in this show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician or health professional. Listeners and viewers should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health and wellness concerns and questions. And now, let's start the MD and Chef Team show.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the MD and Chef Team show. Worldwide here on social media and the NGBN TV network. Let's have some real talk. Hey, good evening, Craig. Nice to see you. Let's have some real talk. Let's have some conversation.
Okay.
Well, who are these people having the conversation with you? Well, I'm Michael, culinary nutrition expert and health coach here at Doctor on a Mission, and I'm joined as always by my beautiful wife,
Thank you,
Isabel.
Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Medical doctor and suicide survivor. An amazing, amazing story.
Yes, and I'm glad, now I am grateful that happened. And I Michael and I want to thank you for spending time with us today. To learn more about how to take good care of yourself. And I just want to say that after my experience as a medical doctor, dropped in to the mental health system and realized, wow, is this what's going on with my patients when they're feeling suicidal, when they're having anxiety and depression? Like, it just opened up my eyes and my heart. And it helped me realize, wow, this is amazing. And here's what Michael and I have come to understand from the latest science and from our experience. We are focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on the downstream event. We're focusing on anxiety, depression, and even suicide. What we really should be focusing on is upstream, how to prevent it. And the upstream is our brain, working on how to support the contributors of our brain. Because we know that everybody's just focusing on down the anxiety, depression. Oh my gosh, how are we going to stop it? How are we going to stop it? How are we going to treat it? Well, we're going to do that by going upstream. Mm-hmm. So imagine you and I just mopping up the floor in the kitchen with all the water. Okay. When the sink is overflowing, why don't we just turn off the faucet? Why don't we just turn off the faucet, which is upstream, so that we don't have the downstream event? Do you see what we're talking about? Do you see?
I see.
Do you get this,
buddy?
Concept.
What a concept. Oh my gosh, it sounds like common sense type stuff to
well,
me.
Yeah, but common sense isn't common.
Oh yeah, well, in healthcare too, just like the rest of the world, it's not always common.
No, it's not always common. So we want you to know that Michael and I are here with you week after week. We're here to walk alongside you and encourage you and empower you so that you know how to take care of your brain health, your number one asset, because this controls everything. Our mission is to get you strong and not suffering with all the downstream events that we're seeing out there. It's so unnecessary. So get you strong emotionally and physically. We got the roadmap. We know where to go. Mm-hmm. All we are asking you to do is join us and take simple, small, consistent steps into your new best life, okay? So if that's for you, stay tuned. This week and next week and the following, we're not going anywhere.
We'll be here for you. That's for sure.
So what's the conversation about? Oh, yeah, I need to ask you. What's the conversation?
You need to ask me, yeah.
What's the conversation about
you're
today?
Prompting me about today's conversation. Right. Well, let's see. What is today's conversation about? Producer Jenna's bringing it up. Hey, today This is episode 18. So we're talking, we started this last week and it became such an amazing conversation that we really knew we needed to go into a part 2. So are you living old or are you living young? Today's part 2. Now, please know that questions and comments are open. We'll talk in a moment about addressing those. And we're going to review part 1 just a little bit, and we're going to talk about chronological age versus biological age. What's the difference? What does it all mean? And then today we're going to really dive into what are the contributors to the disease of aging. Yes, I said the disease of aging, and what can we do to avoid them? And we will have today's big take home later on, so stick around for that. And in our relationship chat, which we always do today, we're going to talk about men and women. Yeah, we're different. Just know it.
Just a little.
And it's okay. It's okay. And we'll continue, and we'll finish off with an empowerment conversation about the strength of believing. So you want to stick around for all that here today on the MD and Chef Team Show.
And before you take off on your next sentence, I just want to let you know, we're also wanting you to send us questions. We want to answer your questions. We want this to be a dance that we're doing together. So make sure you send your questions into the comment section below. Ask the MD and Chef Team Show questions. And we promise after each break, we will bring them up and Jenna will show them to us and we will do our best to answer them for you. Okay?
Jenna, who's Jenna?
Jenna's our beautiful producer.
Jenna, the producer.
Jenna. Oh, man, if we didn't have Jenna.
It wouldn't happen. She's our safety blanket for all this to happen.
Yeah, we are nothing without Jenna. She makes us look good. She even came from Canada all the way to New Zealand to put on my makeup. Nah, she didn't. But you know what I mean. That's like the kind of friendship we have with our producer.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, this all conversation started around a lot about Isabel and I are out there talking to people about living to 100 years young and healthy. And because sometimes we get asked, well, what are you training for? What are you guys up to these days? And we make that statement. We're in training to be 100 years young and healthy. And the most 9 out of 10 times the comment is, well, why would you want to live that old? Oh, no, I don't. No, probably maybe 70, 80 is enough for me. I wouldn't.
And yesterday we were consulting with somebody and we said, yeah, let's go to 100. And they're like, oh, maybe 80.
Maybe 80. Yeah, was about all they could think about.
Yeah.
And here's what the research shows behind that type of thinking is we now know that the average person, their last 20% of their years of life, and we're talking calendar age, chronological age being, that last 20% of their life, they're living unhealthily. They're living with aches, pains, different types of diseases going on. They're in multiple medications for all kinds of things to kind of mask it all. And they're just kind of living it out unhealthy. And so think about that. Means that somebody at the age of 80, if they pass away at the age of 80, from 64 to 80, that last 20% of their life, they have been living in poor health with just all kinds of junk going on. And so that's what's going on. And so we understand that people, that's what their thinking is, it's just going to be ugly. Now, we now know that the World Health Organization, whether you like them or not, they have declared, because some people do, some don't.
We got some funny messages
on
YouTube.
That one, but the World Health Organization has now classified aging as a disease. Classified aging as a disease. What's that mean? Well, what that basically means is they're saying, hey, it's up to you to do something about it. So we're going to talk about, well, what do we do about it? Because we're talking about living young or living old. So I want to talk about 2 things briefly, and then we're going to launch into a lot of things we can do. But in two things briefly is chronological age versus biological age.
Yeah.
So let's have some conversation with the crowd over here.
Okay.
I want to talk to these guys about chronological age versus biological age. So chronological age is your calendar age. Like right now, I'm 66. Isabel's 64.
29.
That's our, well, that's your biological age. Chronologically, that's our age. That's our calendar age. We all have that calendar age. But what the important age is, our biological age. What is our body systems aging at?
What's our heart age? What's our kidney age? What's our brain age? What's our thyroid age? What's our lung age? What's our muscle age?
Yes.
Just to dive deep a little bit on
that. Is that biological age, is that moving along quickly? Are we aging fast? Or are we actually slowing that down because of the good habits, the lifestyle habits we have in our life? Mm-hmm. For Isabel and I, just briefly, and this is not about us, like, hey, look at you guys, but just so you know, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the talk, and we live this way because we want to live to be 100 years young and healthy and beyond. Is a couple of weeks ago, we did this thing called body comp, where they do a whole bunch of measurements and all that kind of stuff. We get it done every 6 weeks. And this one only goes up to 15 years, either under or over. So at 66, my biological age could have showed up at 81, or it could have showed up at 51. Well, it showed up at 51. Hallelujah.
Because you've done the work.
But because I did the work. For Isabel's at 64, hers could have been 15 over. But fortunately, it was 15 under because she's done the work. So her biological age right now is 49. So
I'm happy with that.
Some of those programs will go up to 20 years either way. So the point being there is the most important measurement you want to be looking at is not what is my calendar age, but what is my biological age? And we can control that. We have control of that by our lifestyle factors that we're implementing daily. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of those.
That's a good
recap. We get going.
That's a good recap, hon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a recap from part 1. And we did a little bit more, but really just so you know what we're understanding, what the understanding is. So let's talk about, are you all right if I just talk about what contributors age us and what contributors should we be doing?
Take it away, Captain.
Slow down the aging. Now, before we get into a break in a few minutes, I'm just going to review the first one because we touched on the first one last week. And this was all about nutrition. And what I'm going to do in touching on this briefly is basically saying that inflammatory diets, meaning diets that are causing inflammation, causing fires of the body, meaning that a nutritional way of eating that makes us age fast, we've got to stay away from. What is that? Well, bottom line is it's eating what's called frankenfoods. You've all heard of Frankenstein the monster. Well, that's where the scientists created this monster in a lab. Well, frankenfoods are monster foods that have been created in the lab.
And they're creating monsters out of us in the healthcare system and out in the world. You'll see them. You know, they don't look healthy. We don't look healthy out there, do we?
Well, we do, but hey.
Thanks, Craig. This is good stuff.
Yeah. So I do want to, so last week in Frankenfoods, just to recap it, because again, my biggie I want to let everybody know is read labels, please. Take the time to read the labels of, yes, excellent. Read the labels of what you are drinking and eating. Because if I'm eating broccoli, I don't really have much of a label to read. It's broccoli. There's not a whole lot of ingredients in there, but broccoli. If I'm eating a carrot, what's the label say? It's a carrot, you know? And so what I'm talking about, these frankenfoods, is in the labels. Now, last week we did Coke Zero and got a whole lot of comments on that because people who either were drinking it or maybe something similar were thinking, oh my gosh, I had no idea what was in this stuff, because we don't. We just have it and don't even think about it. Oh, that tastes good. Yay. So today I'm going to do this one, and I could probably go on for about an hour on just this one food with all the ingredients in.
Here we go.
I actually lost track of trying to count them up because I don't know, there was 30 some ingredients and can't even pronounce half of them. But Doritos. Has anybody ever heard of Doritos?
And who can have just one Dorito?
And we'll see why in the ingredients, because the scientists make it so you can't have one.
That's right.
Last week we had a comment, I believe it might have been Larry, but we had a comment on a gentleman who said, I'm just hooked on these foods every day. It's just like I got to have them every day. And yeah, that's true. That's what they do. That's what the scientists that's their job in the labs of these food companies, is to create foods that addict you to those foods.
And I just want to add, if I may, as you take a deep breath,
and roll.
Take a deep breath.
Get me fired up here about these foods.
Let's take a dive into the brain and the hormones. Okay, so what the scientists have done is they've hijacked your brain. You see, there's this hormone in our brain called dopamine. It's one of our happy hormones, and we will do anything to be happy. Some people take drugs, cocaine, methamphetamine, whatever. But in the food industry, they know how to make our dopamines go up. And then when we start going down, we're wired to do whatever we got to do to go back up. And that's what these foods do. They make you get your hand back in the bag. And before you know it, there's nothing left in the bag. It's an empty bag.
They're actually affecting your brain health directly, from your gut, which talks your gut health, your digestive system talks directly to your brain and affecting your brain health. So,
and wait, can I add one more thing? When you take another deep breath, take a deep breath.
I've got plenty of breath. I'm like,
breathe. The next idea is, keep in mind that these scientists that are getting paid by the food industry aren't with you holding your hand when you're seeing your doctor for a heart attack, or when you're in the emergency department, you're having a stroke, or when you're on these medications for diabetes that cause kidney problems, that cause confusion. So just know that they're just doing a job, but that job is affecting your health and your family's health. And I encourage you to just take back your health, because it's been hijacked. Because I'm there. I'm in the front line going,
you end up seeing it. Yeah.
I'm like, this is so unnecessary.
So what I'm going to say is, let's take a short break, because when we come back, we'll look at questions, but then I want to run through this Doritos ingredient list after the break. Okay.
And don't go get Doritos.
Now, if you want to learn more about us here at the MD and Chef Team Show, just go on over to doctoronamission.com. That's where you'll find us. So we look forward to seeing you after the break. No Dorito dust on your fingers.
Hey, I'm Michael McCreary.
And I'm Rich Fry. Welcome to Truex Outdoors,
the ultimate outdoor show.
So come tag along with us as we experience thrilling adventures in hunting and fishing.
From the mountains to the rivers, we'll bring you the most action-packed outdoor experiences.
Watch us now on NGBN TV.
Truex Outdoors.
One week after launching our exclusive sneak peek, NGBN TV was live for 3 days of continuous coverage from Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
NGBN TV is live from Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58.
The one-of-a-kind streaming TV network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s was the conversation for the big game about men's mental health. In the world of athletes, celebrities, and influencers, we're on notice. But we're just getting started with new partnerships announced, like the Team Nike 3-on-3 Championship, and new platforms available to download the NGBN TV app. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app today from your favorite streaming device, or check us out at ngbn.tv. This is NGBN TV.
Hey, it's AC of AC Sports Live, an interactive sports talk show where your comments are part of the show. Every show we focus on the sports stories of today, with commentary on sports takes, My 2 Cents, which is a reaction to my social media feed, Sports Flicks, where we take a look at sports movies and give a quick review. We have a segment called Mental Reps, where we have words of inspiration to help battle the dark side of men's mental health. And then there's the Tender Love Report. Who's being soft or petty in the world of sports? streaming live on the NGBN TV network, Roku, Amazon Fire, and other social media platforms. All takes are welcome under one condition: say it with your chest. I'll see you there.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, you healthy brain enthusiasts, to the MD and Chef Team Show on Doctor on a Mission. Hey, guess what? We got questions. So why don't we bring up the first question? Can I assume air-popped popcorn is a decent snack to eat?
Well, I guess the word there,
Air-popped.
Yeah, air-popped. I guess the word there would be decent.
Decent, hon.
Yeah.
Let's talk decent.
Yeah.
They're not talking about optimal, okay? We're not talking about carbohydrate load. They're talking about something decent.
It's a better way to have it. I would definitely check out the one that you're using if you're going to do popcorn, because that's a great way of doing it.
Yes.
Just take a look at what type of popcorn it is, and hey, if you can get an organic one, fantastic.
Because of the pesticides. You see, The reason we encourage the organic is because we know what's being sprayed on the crops. And so we want to be super careful that it's organic, not GMO, because you don't want that stuff in your system. And just one more thing, if I may, while you're taking a deep breath.
I'm breathing the whole time. What is this deep breath?
I don't know. It's just my thing today that I'm hanging on. Is butter. If you like butter, use the real butter. Don't use that margarine. Okay, so melted butter with a pinch of pink sea salt. So there is a real connection to feeling younger versus your actual age.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing of especially with the WHO. World Health Organization saying that aging is a disease. That's a clue. That's a hint that they're telling us this is something you have control over. So that biological age is the number that we want to really be looking at. So I would highly suggest, if you have an opportunity to go to a gym or a fitness center somewhere that does these body compositions where they actually look at visceral fat, body fat, muscle mass, bone density, water, percentage, hydration, all these different things. And then they spit you out a number at the end with your biological age. That's the most important number, because you want to make sure that's well under your chronological age. And that means your body is aging slower biologically than your chronological age. Because, hey, if we're 80 and feel like we're 60 biologically and our systems are running beautifully, that's what you want. You don't want that other flip side of the last 20% of your life is just sickness, because that's not quality. Okay. All righty. So
any other questions, Jenna?
She'll let us know.
She'll let us know. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Which decade of your life would you like to be stuck in? And no, you can't choose your current decade.
Stuck in?
Stuck in. I would love this. Rubio, I'll answer it first because I'm the woman. I would love to be stuck at 49. Oh, yeah, I am 49 right now. Biologically. I would like to be stuck at 50, 51. With the wisdom that I have in my current lifestyle, plus moving forward. How about you?
Yeah, I'd like to be stuck in, I'll say 40s. Well, actually, my wisdom came in the 50s. So I'd like to be stuck in my 50s. And the reason being because where I'm at now, I feel like I'm just entering that decade. I feel fantastic, better than I've ever felt ever in my life, health-wise, brain health-wise. But I've actually gained wisdom in my life that, I learned a few things. I'm not there yet, but I've learned a few things. So that's...
Yeah, we're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
Yeah. So come with us.
Another 50 years to go, 40 or 50 years, of exciting times. All right, Doritos, unless we have another question, but we shall see.
Jenna, is there another question?
Up. So Doritos.
Great question.
Okay. No. So I'm going to go through this because this was supposed to be a short recap of Franken Foods. But anyway, we will move on after this.
There's no hurry, okay?
So This could be any type of food created in a lab. That's why we talk about Frankenfood. So Doritos, could be Cheetos, Lay's, chips, I don't know, all this kind of stuff. I'm just using this as an example of how we need to read labels. So Doritos ingredients. Corn. Okay, that's cool. I mean, where is it from? Is it GMO? Is it organic? Whatever. Okay, whatever. Vegetable oil and canola oil. Well, these are a source of omega-6 fats that are from ultra-processed food, contribute to inflammation when heavily consumed. So inflammation is something we don't want. We don't want fire in the body. They are refined oils, which decreases the nutrients in oils, and it decreases the good essential fatty acids and antioxidants and vitamins, and basically those are the types of oils you want to stay away from. So yeah, okay. I mean, is it the end of the world? No, but it's not that great. Maltodextrin. Maltodextrin. Now again, this is the scientist making a food so that you just can't have one and you get addicted to it. Has a higher glycemic index, so GI, which is the kind of the measure of sugar just hitting the body from a glucose level. It's higher in GI level than table sugar. So we think white sugar is the worst. Well, this stuff has a higher hit on our glucose.
And who would think that Doritos has sugar in it? Like, could you taste it?
Well, we're going to talk about a few different kinds of sugar.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, chef.
So it's a 2019 review suggests that maltodextrin can impair intestinal release, increase the risk of colitis, autoimmune diseases, E. coli growth and bacteria of the gut, and Crohn's disease. Well, that sounds fantastic. Give me a 12 serving of that.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Salt, cheddar cheese, milk, cheese culture, salt, enzymes, whey. I'm not even getting into any of those. Monosodium glutamate. I think we've all heard of MSG. Been linked with obesity, metabolic disorders, neurotoxic effects, and detrimental effects on the reproductive organs. Fantastic. We got that in there too. Buttermilk, Romano cheese, okay, whey protein concentrate, onion powder, corn flour. I mean, how many ingredients do we have in this thing? Natural and artificial flavors. Well, how do artificial flavors affect the body? When our taste receptors get activated through artificial food flavors, the reward center of our brain is activated, and hormones like dopamine are released.
Really?
Exactly.
Did they say dopamine?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
When this happens, our own physiology gets confused and craving those same foods over and over. I wonder why they put that in there. Oh, dextrose. Here's another OSE. Well, now that's sugar. So
OSE means sugar.
Dextrose can lead to dangerously high blood sugar and fluid in the body, which may cause swelling and fluid in the lungs. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we need that in food. Tomato powder. Lactose. Oh, no. Here's another OSE. Lactose intolerance causes symptoms such as bloating, gas, diarrhea, stomach pain, constipation, and more. Side effects range from all kinds of severity through what can be skin rashes and things like that. So,
bloating,
and that. So there's a lot of OSEs in there, which basically are sugar content, which makes us want more. Spices. Oh, now we get into the ones that have numbers. Well, okay. Anything of it's a number. Come on, give me a break, guys. Artificial color, including yellow 6, yellow 8, and red 40. Yay!
He loves doing this.
Lactic acid, sugar, garlic powder, skim milk, red and Grenville. I mean, I'm still going on with ingredients in this thing. Disodium inosinate. Those with gout or a history of uric acid kidney stones should avoid this. Gosh. This is because, and I'm sorry if I can't even pronounce half this stuff, the guanolates, often metabolized, which has compounds that can cause a raise in uric acid levels in your body.
So you have gout. So you start experiencing gout, and gout's like pain in your big toe or your arm or your hip or your elbow or your wrist or your knee or your ankle. And
we're about to finish off with the last couple.
Drum roll.
And disodium guanolate. Common concerns: cancer, allergies, immunotoxicity, developmental and reproductive toxicity, And then also they have a disclaimer at the very bottom that says contains milk ingredients. So I got that directly off the actual Dorito from the company's Doritos website, listing all the ingredients and then talking about how wonderful they are for everybody. Hello. Okay. So there we go.
It's funny that they would say disclaimer, it also contains milk. It should actually be disclaimer, it contains all of this.
It contains all of that kind of stuff.
Craig said,
it.
I read an article that identified the ingredient of the Impossible Burger that are identical to dry dog food. What do you say about that, Doc and Chef? Don't eat it! It doesn't sound very healthy.
Yeah. Let's go for real food.
Yeah,
Okay.
real food that
So
you chop and eat and talk a conversation.
So I'm going to move on from inflammatory
Are we
diet.
moving on?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we can go on and on. But basically, the bottom line is read your labels and understand that Franken foods are created in the lab so that you become addicted to them. That's the company scientist's job to do. Okay. And they're really bad for your health. So next, what age is this and what should we do? Sedentary lifestyle. I don't know if you ever heard of the Blue Zone, but there's movies out there, documentaries, books about the blue zones around the world and what they found in those zones. This is people who are centenarians that live to be an average age of 100, young and healthy, that most of these areas that they lived, the people walked a lot. They didn't necessarily maybe work out at the gym, but they were always doing something, whether it was working in the gardens, walking to the store. And a lot of them lived in areas that were hilly, so that they were always getting their leg strength from walking up and down hills and valleys and to the market and those types of things.
And I'll just say it over to the people over in this part of the room, is that we now know that the stronger our thighs are, which is our biggest muscle, the better off our brain health is. Okay, so that's why we always encourage at least 50 squats, 100 squats, Monday through Friday. The more squats, the better, okay?
Yeah.
The stronger your thighs, the stronger your brain. Because you know what? We're supposed to be thinking clearly until our last breath. Don't ever believe the lie that it's just normal to not, to have, quote, senior moments, okay? And I will constantly be driving that home because chronologically, in my age, the older I get chronologically, the more I hear it and the more I'm like, that's a lie. Don't believe that lie. Don't buy into that. So one of the ways is get your thighs in shape, go up steps and do your squats.
Yes.
Yes, which I will be doing after this show. Because I haven't done them yet, I'm being honest.
Yes, I haven't done mine yet today either. So that's for me later on today.
So you were saying that it was important to stay strong.
Yes. So we want to be looking at resistance exercise. It's great for our brain health, our physical health, and resistance basically meaning you're putting resistance on your muscles and your bones. Because as we age, every decade from 30 years young and beyond, we lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass. So just imagine if you're every decade, 3 to 8%. So, I mean, by the time you're at 60, you could have lost anywhere between 10 to 24% of your muscle mass. Well, that's a lot. It might not sound like a lot, but it is a lot. And that's where we see a lot of stability problems with people as they get older and their bones, struggle. They have it's osteoporosis and sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle mass and bone density that people struggle with. And
you'll see that the older people get, the thinner their thighs are. And that's not a good foundation to stand on. And they will fall and tumble and break a hip. And then they end up in the hospital and they get leg clots and then they die. That doesn't have to happen.
So one of the things, when we're working on resistance, whatever that may be for you, one of the things we need to do is make sure we got proper protein levels. So I'm just going to give you something real quick on that because we're going to move through a few things today.
Mhm.
But we want to make sure we get proper protein levels to feed our muscles as we're going through our day and working out. So this is in kg. If you're in the pounds yourself, you can figure that out.
Just
Okay?
go to Google and put in your pounds, go pounds to kg, and you can get
Figure
that.
this out.
Yeah.
But on a normal day, and this is, and so on a normal day without any working out, you're looking at getting around 1.2 grams of protein per kg. 1.2 grams of protein per kg on a normal day without working out.
Do you need to breathe?
Yeah, see when you're breathing. I stopped breathing 7 minutes ago.
Oh, here, have a sip of water.
Okay.
That's the prescription right now. Because you are the lead in this show today.
That's good. And on training days, exercise days, resistance days, whatever it may be, even if you're out doing a lot of walking, you want to look at 1.5 to 2.0 grams of protein per kg on that day. So obviously a little bit more because you got to feed that into the muscles. And the best time to have that, if you've done exercising and you've worked out, is to make sure you have some protein within an hour after that workout to feed that back into the muscles because it needs it, whatever that may be for you, whether it's a meal or maybe a protein shake. But that's a good idea. But work on not having a sedentary lifestyle because that can just atrophy the muscles and the bones and things just kind of go downhill. That can age you fast. Another one is...
Oh, there's more.
Yes. Another one.
There's a lot more.
Yeah. We'll just...
It's okay, hon. We're okay.
Yeah.
We're fine. This is our show, hon. We
can roll
we get to share
as
as
long
much.
as Jenna lets us roll a little bit. We'll be okay.
Yeah, Jenna.
And if you got a question, pop it up there. Let us know. We'll take care of it. Social environment. Again, this is kind of goes back to the blue zones a little bit, but this is another way that people that tend to just kind of hide away from society. This was something that a lot of people took a hit during COVID, was social environment, socializing, getting out and being around people. And it's so important to have that community vibe, that relationships. All those people in the blue zone always had a good community, always had a, you know, whether it was the family relationships, friends relationships, whatever it was, but they had a good core, a nucleus around them where they could socialize and, you know, and doing that. And it's very, very important. When we socialize, we release stress. So hopefully your socialization, whatever you're hanging
Hopefully
out
you have
with,
friends.
and if your friends or family, if it's stressful, then that's something you have to do if it's, let's say, family. But you want to have your social life around something that's uplifting and it releases stress. And that's really good for us. Anything like that can release stress. So social environment that we are in, and don't just hide yourself away from the world, because that actually slows us down and has us in a position where, well, we're starting to age fast. So what do you think? Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a little break.
All right, we'll take a little break. And hey, if you want to get some daily insights and inspiration from us on your social media channels, just look for @DoctorOnAMission. That's where you'll find us. And we'll be back with more ways of aging slowly right after the break.
1 week after launching our exclusive sneak peek, NGBN TV was live for 3 days of continuous coverage from Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
NGBN TV is live from Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58.
The one-of-a-kind streaming TV network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s was the conversation for the big game about men's mental health. And the world of athletes, celebrities, and influencers were on notice. But we're just getting started with new partnerships announced like the Team Nike 3-on-3 Championship and new platforms available to download the NGBN TV app. So, what are you waiting for? Download the app today from your favorite streaming device or check us out at ngbn.tv. This is NGBN TV.
Does life feel heavy at times? Does it feel like you could use a little more hope and encouragement? Hi, I'm Janine Lindquist, host of The Look Up Show on NGBN TV. Tune in for insights that I'll be sharing to educate, encourage, and empower you to be your best self. You'll find that as you heal from the wounds of your past, that your scars and challenges can be something that propels you forward instead of holding you back. So join me on The Look Up Show as I give you some things to think about and leave you with something to smile about.
I hope you got a healthy brain snack while you were away and your hand wasn't in a bag of Dorito chips or any of those kinds of chips. Because now it's time to buckle in and continue on with the MD and Chef Team show. Let's go!
Greg is like, yeah.
He wants to go get some.
Yeah.
So what am I hearing is Doritos Locos Tacos.
Yeah, it is correct. I mean, again, a little bit of a disclaimer. Obviously, if it's something you have once a month or something, yeah. I mean, Isabel and I just had a long 4-day weekend where we had a chance to get away together for a few days.
And I'm still recovering from that.
Yeah.
Huh?
And did I have some French fries? Yep. I had an order of French fries. Why? Because I haven't had any in months, and it was like, yep, I love French fries. I'm going to have an order of French fries. That doesn't make me fall off the edge. It's just what we're talking about. If this is part of your daily nutritional panel or even your weekly, having it a few times a week, then it starts to add up and your body gets to a point where it actually can't handle the toxin load that we keep pouring in. If it's very occasionally, not a big deal. Okay.
Any other questions, Jenna? If you could eat anything and magically it would be perfectly healthy, what would you both choose? You can go first.
Oh, that's easy for me. I'm having huevos rancheros for breakfast, like a nice kind of Mexican dish for breakfast. And then I'm having a burger and fries at lunchtime. And then I'm having a pizza at dinner time. And at lunchtime is probably a margarita, and at dinner time is a red wine. And yeah, if I had that for about...
Magically. He said magically.
Magically?
Yeah, he said magically.
Yeah, that would be it.
I would have cereal in the morning because I just love cereal, but I don't eat it anymore. Cereal in the morning, and at lunch I'd have a big, tall BLT. Love those. And then
big tall one.
A
Not
big
just
tall
a BLT.
one. A big tall
one.
one. And dip it in mayonnaise and mustard. And then for dinner, pizza and a margarita.
There you go.
Yeah. With lots of goopy cheese. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, for dessert, a big tub. I like big tub of ice cream.
That's always big. It's got to be big.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Wait, let's see. There might be some other. These are important questions.
That was a philosophical
question. They want to know if we're
Rubio
real.
Fires away with these philosophical questions. You got.
Yeah, he wants to know if we're real, or if we're zombie, or if we're robots.
We
are not a robot.
Wind me up. All right. So next one: how to slow down our aging or have it go quickly is inadequate sleep. Inadequate sleep over a period of time, meaning 7 to 9 hours a night, is what we should be getting for our brain health and for keeping our aging nice and slow, that our body actually rests during the night, is what we should have. So a chronic problem of inadequate sleep will age us quickly and age our brain and our body systems. And why this has become so huge, because Isabel sees it all the time in her practice and with our clients, and so do I, is that ever since the invention of the light bulb, which is fantastic, we all love the light bulb and everything it's been able to do and electricity, but ever since the invention of the light bulb, our natural circadian rhythm has just been thrown out of whack. Because before that, our body is set up so that when there's sunset through the sensory of the eyes, melatonin starts to get created, and the brain just kind of goes, it's time for nighty-night. In the morning, when we see light, all of a sudden, melatonin is suppressed and we wake up. That's the natural circadian rhythm. Now that we have lights and bells and whistles and all these things going on around us, we don't actually have a sunset anymore. Yeah, the sunset goes down, but our life doesn't have a sunset. It is just rocking and rolling right through the day. And our brain is like, when do I sleep? When do I sleep? When do I sleep?
Yeah.
We have to create a sunset with our sleep hygiene. And actually, if you want to really get in depth with that, I believe it was episodes number 3 and 4. It was either 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. Our beautiful Dr. Isabel and a 2-part series went through all of sleep
But don't
hygiene.
worry, there'll be more.
But we'll get back in that again.
I am not I'm like a dog on a bone when it comes to the sleep thing.
Yeah, so inadequate sleep. Because what we now know that ever since the light bulb, our sleep patterns as humans have been lessened by 2 hours from what it used to be. So sleep, there's a problem there. Pay attention to it. Reach out to us if you want to talk about sleep, because this lady's an expert in that area. She turned her sleep mess into a message of how to get great sleep. All right, another one. What age is this? Gut health. Gut health is so important. We've probably heard about that. But one of the things that really messes up gut health is a lot of drugs that are being prescribed, and a lot of drugs and how it throws off our microbiome of our health, of our gut health. Also, these frankenfoods we're talking about, they mess up your gut health.
Wait. So just a few drugs.
Okay, you fire away.
Just a couple off the top of my head. These things called Tylenol, paracetamol, we have it here in New Zealand, ibuprofen, Motrin, really rips up your gut health. So if you don't need it, don't take it. There's a lot of other things you can take for pain control that are natural that we can talk about at another time. But
even the simple aspirin
can upset your gut health.
And if you need it once in a great while, but if you're somebody that's chronically needing to take these things, then there's another problem going on, but you're actually throwing your gut health off, which affects the brain health. It's all connected. And so these are the types of things, if we're overusing them, we want to look at, well, again, upstream, why am I overusing these things?
And antibiotics can mess up your gut health. But we'll definitely promise to do like a 20 episode series on that.
Gut health. It's going to take a couple on gut health because it's so
we will go deep
into that one. And then the other one, just briefly before we move on, is toxins. We now know that the average newborn right now today, if a baby's born today, has approximately 207 chemicals in the mom's umbilical cord blood when being born. Why? Because there's just so much out there chemicalized, and a lot of it is, how can we control that? Number one, the biggest one is how we can control the toxins is understand that our biggest organ of our body is our skin. Our skin covers our whole body. So understand anything that goes on the skin is going into our body systems. So if you just think, okay, what shampoos am I using? What's the facial creams? What am I using for makeup? What am I applying to myself? What type of deodorant am I using? For Isabel and I, an example, another biggie is clothes. What do you wash your clothes in?
Oh my gosh.
Because we use one that doesn't smell. It's very clean. We now are so sensitive. We can be walking by somebody and smell their laundry detergent.
Michael and I went away for 4 days and we did a lot of hiking. People would walk past us out in the wilderness and I could smell their clothes, the perfume on their clothes. Those perfumes are going into your body. They're toxic.
Yeah.
They're not good for you.
Yeah.
So let me talk to you over here. If you are using a detergent that smells good, it's killing you. It's affecting you. It's affecting your brain health. It's affecting this number one organ that you've got that's controlling your life. When the best thing I can recommend is get an eco-friendly detergent. You can use it the sensitive type that got no smell to it, and use that. Or if you don't want to do that because you're concerned that it's going to affect your washing machine and clog it up, which, that's always an argument, you can just get some regular old baking soda, white baking soda, and put in 2 tablespoons of baking soda in your wash, and then get like a half a cup of white vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the cleanest way to wash that. And if you've got kids, that's really good too. And it will smell like, it won't smell anything. It'll get rid of all the bad smells, and you'll be putting it on your skin, which is an organ, and it won't be absorbed. So I just share this with you because we know all this stuff, and we're dealing with people that have got Alzheimer's, and we've got to wean them off this stuff because your blood tests show up with all these toxins. Your urine shows up with all these toxins. And I'll tell you, I never learned this in medical school. I was like, holy moly, this is like real stuff. And it was kind of funny. When Michael and I were walking, I go, did you smell that? And he's like,
I can smell their detergent.
So anyway, I just wanted to interject while Michael was taking a deep breath.
I was breathing. Let's go, Bruce. Yes, I was breathing.
Okay.
So just understand, whatever's going on our skin is going inside to us biologically.
Yeah.
And those toxins can age us very quickly.
Yeah.
So we want to keep as clean as we possibly can to age slowly.
A clean machine to 100.
So today's big take home, just landing this plane on this part of the show.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's always more. But for today's... Please understand that aging is now classified as a disease. And what that means is you have control of it. Your biological age is in your control, not your chronological age, because 24 hours is gone. We all get that. We all go 24 hours. But did we age 24 hours? Did we age 35 hours? Or during that 24-hour period, did we age maybe 1 or 2 hours? That is up to your control with what you're doing with the lifestyle factors that you lead every day. So do your best and take some of this information away. And I know there's a lot there, but maybe just think about one thing you can implement right now, this week, this day, to say, that's a habit I'm going to change. That's something I'm going to pay attention to, because I want to start aging slowly and not quickly.
Yeah, because we're just asking you to come to the table and make small, consistent steps. Okay? Small, consistent steps, not big, consistent steps.
Well, actually, what I think we should do is roll right into today's relationship chat.
Yes.
So, Jenna, we're going to get into our relationship chat today. We're going to roll right into that with your permission.
Oh, there I am.
Now, we're going to talk about men and women. We are different. We are different. And sometimes the gloves come out. So please.
Can you run that one more time, Jenna, please?
We are different, but it's okay. We acknowledge that we are different. It just happens that way. And so the big thing is to understand that I'm not trying to figure out.
I got mine. Boom. But I've never used them on you.
Not on me. No.
Never,
that's
ever.
your personal box of gloves.
Yeah. Okay.
Understand that men and women, we're different, and it's okay. When we understand that, I'm not trying to change Isabel to be like me.
Or
that's
dissing.
impossible.
You're not dissing me.
Yeah, or even like, And so in saying that, what we need to do is embrace each other for our differences. And she's different than me, as you can tell. But we are our own individual persons. And as a woman, she's different than me as a guy. We think differently. We do things differently. It's about just respecting that space.
Yeah, that's the key word, respecting.
Yeah, respecting that space that we're different. And what we need to do then as things arise in a relationship is to communicate about some of those different things, understanding that we're different. We come together. This just made me think of something where for me as a guy, one of the things I had to understand is sometimes for Isabel as a woman, things would come up in a relationship that she would just be like telling me about it. This is important. This is important. This is important. And I'm like, what do you mean it's important? What's the big deal? I said, that's like the worst thing I could have done, just to put it down, let's say, and to downplay it. To her, this situation, whatever it was very important. And
I think that's called gaslighting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the new term, gaslighting. Let me know if I'm wrong, everybody or anybody. Yeah. I think, when you go, what are you talking about? Like, just turn, get over it.
But and
that would really irritate me.
Yeah, it would really irritate you because, you were trying to get me to understand something, at least listen, because this was important to you and you wanted to talk about it. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, all right. Wow, what's the big deal? Come on, gee, and right.
I know, but what changed? Like, when did you change? Well, what happened? When did the penny drop? That this?
I can't. Actually, it was
because I wouldn't leave you. I was like, boop, 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 boop.
It was May 17th, 1998. And I don't know. It was just my own personal growth to understand that. Okay, wait a second here. Why I need to respect that time. That it's. You've got something that's important. And sometimes I come up with things that I'm like, this is important. And you're like, huh? What? Oh, okay. So understanding that when the person says, man or woman, says this is important, then we need to understand that.
That's right. Well, guess what? It's time to say goodbye. Remember, this is your weekly hangout. We're here for you. We got the roadmap. Join us next week because there's more to come. Mwah. Thank you for your time.
Love you.
Bye.